Hello students, we are going to start the next unit, that is chapter 5, Principles of Inheritance and Variation. So when we start this chapter, the first thing that should be known is the difference between heredity and inheritance. So what is heredity? It is the genetic transmission, that is the genes are transferred from the parents to the offspring. And in case of inheritance, anything can be passed from the parents to offspring. That means property, it can be property, it can be title, like the king gives his throne to his son. So it's like inheritance, the property is given from parents to their children, it is inheritance. But heredity deals with only the genes, the genetic transmission. And second point there is heredity occurs through inheritance of genes, as I told you just now, and the biological inheritance is related to heredity. So inheritance in terms of biology, when we consider, that is heredity. Now few terms which you have already studied in your lower classes, few things which you have already studied. The number of chromosomes in human, how many? It's 46 chromosomes, this you already know, that is 23 pairs, out of which 22 pairs are autosomes. Now what do you mean by autosomes? They are the chromosomes which are other than the sex chromosome. What is sex chromosome? Those chromosome which tell whether an organism is a male or a female. So that is the sex chromosome. And autosome, they control the somatic traits, that means all other traits other than the sex, that means whether the person is a male or a female. Other than that, autosomes, all the biological traits, that is being controlled by autosomes. So they are the chromosomes that are other than the sex chromosomes. They exist in pairs which has same form, and they control somatic traits. There are in human there are 22 pair of autosomes. And sex chromosomes, they are the chromosomes which determine sex, and in humans there is only one pair of sex chromosome, that is what is 22 plus 1, that is 23 pair of chromosomes. Now another term, diploid, haploid, this also you have come across many times. Diploid means the cells with two complete sets of chromosomes. So 2n, when we write it as 2n. So the complete set of chromosome is there in a diploid cell. So zygote is a diploid cell, and haploid, they are the cells with a single complete set of chromosome. That means n, we call it half. Haploid is half. So example, sperm cell and egg cell, they are haploid. Then homologous and heterologous chromosome. Homologous chromosomes, they are the set of one maternal chromosome and one paternal chromosome that pair up with each other inside a cell. So they are of the same. Suppose in this area, like you can say here, suppose these two are the sister chromatids. Suppose one area in this chromosome, it is showing the trait for suppose eye color. The same chromosome here, you can see homologous chromosome in the same sister chromatid in the other chromosome also, at the same place it should show the trait for eye color. So that is homologous chromosome, they are of the same size and shape. You can see here homologous chromosome. Okay, so they will be controlling the same trait on the same area, same trait, or different chromosomes will be having the same trait on the same place. So that is same size and shape, and they bear corresponding genes governing the same traits. That's what I said now. Suppose eye color, and the other part of the chromosome also will be having the same eye color trait. Heterologous chromosome, they are different, they differ in shape, size and function, and they do not belong to the same pair. Like here, suppose eye color is being shown in this part of the chromosome, the other part would be showing suppose hair color. So it is not a homologous chromosome. Now homozygous and heterozygous organisms, they are the organisms with identical alleles. Alleles you have studied 10th standard, alleles, identical alleles. You can see here capital T, that is tall trait. Small t, that is tall and short. We have come across this in Mendel's experiment. We'll be doing that in this chapter also. T is for tall trait, and small t is for short character of the pea plant. So homozygous organism, they will be having the same identical alleles, whereas heterozygous organisms, they will be having different alleles like small t and capital T. Capital T is tall and small t is short. Now what is allele? It is one member of a pair of gene. I told you just now, T. It is one member of a pair of gene that occupy a given position on a homologous chromosome. Example, so T, T, all these are alleles. They are slightly different form of the same gene and code for a pair of contrasting character traits like tall, short. They can code for color also, or for shape. All these like pea plant, round and wrinkled, yellow and green. All these colors are also taken. Now two alleles, from where the two alleles are coming, one from the mother, one from mother and one from father. That's father, not mother, no? One from mother and one from father. Now what are the genes? Genes are the units of inheritance and basically the components which carries information from one generation to the other, and they control the traits of living organism. The characters of living organisms are controlled by genes. Now on each chromosome there would be thousands of genes, and these genes would contain DNA. That DNA contains sequence. That sequence will give signals for protein synthesis. So a particular region of DNA will be determining a particular trait. Now who was the person who did all these experiments on inheritance and genetics? That was Gregor Mendel. And what did he do? He did experiment for 7 years. For 7 years he did his experiment on peas, and he's called the father of genetics. What did he do? He kept a count of intelligence or individuals exhibiting a particular trait in each generation. So in each generation he used pea plant, and he kept on observing those pea plant, and he was studying the characters of the pea plant, their growth, and how different generations they were different from the other one. So he gave many rules of heredity, and they are called the laws of Mendelian inheritance. Now why did Mendel choose pea plant for his experiments? That is because the pea plant is having several contrasting characters. What are those characters? Height, flower, color, seed color, and shape. So they are self-pollinated in plant in nature. Self-pollination is needed. You have studied in 10th standard. Self-pollination is done to study F2 generation. Self-pollinated plant in nature. The cross-pollination is easy to be done artificially. They are having a short lifespan. Short lifespan. So he was not. There was no need to spend a lot of time in their study because they had short lifespan and they were easy to cultivate. So what are the contrasting traits of pea plant? They are the round seed, wrinkle seed. These are the contrasting traits. Yellow seed, green seed, tall, dwarf, violet flower,